The night began like any other, quiet and polished, wrapped in soft lights and soft music. She had arrived early, hopeful but nervous, sitting alone at a table meant for two. Her hands rested neatly on her lap as she watched people pass, pretending she was not waiting. The restaurant carried the kind of silence that made small moments feel heavy. She checked her phone once, then again, but no message came. Around her, couples laughed gently, glasses clinked, and warmth filled every corner except the space she occupied. She smiled anyway, telling herself he would come. Minutes turned into long stretches of time. The waiter returned politely, asking if she wanted water again. She nodded, embarrassed, but trying to stay composed. Her date had promised he would be there. He had sounded confident, charming, and sincere. She replayed his words in her head, hoping they would become real. Each passing moment felt louder than the last. She didn't know it yet, but eyes were already watching her from across the room. At a corner table sat a man dressed simply, but powerfully. Nothing about him screamed importance, yet everything about him demanded attention. His posture was calm, his expression unreadable. He had seen many nights like this, many people pretending they weren't being hurt. When his gaze landed on her, it lingered, not with desire, but with understanding. He recognized disappointment when he saw it. He had lived it once. Her phone buzzed suddenly. Relief flashed across her face, then quickly faded. The message was short and careless. An excuse. A lie wrapped in laziness. She read it twice, then placed the phone face down on the table. Her lips pressed together, trying to hold dignity in place. Around her, laughter continued. No one noticed the quiet crack in her expression. The waiter approached again, awkward this time. He asked if she was ready to order. She hesitated, then nodded. Her voice was soft when she spoke, almost apologetic. She ordered something simple, though her appetite had disappeared. Across the room, the man watched her shoulders tighten. He saw the way she tried to shrink, as if taking up less space would make the moment hurt less. When her food arrived, she barely touched it, but humiliation was subtle, not loud, but it pressed down on her chest. A few nearby guests had noticed. Whispers moved quietly, glances flickered. She kept her eyes down, pretending none of it mattered, but the truth was heavy. Being left in public always was. The man in the corner shifted slightly. He had seen cruelty wear many faces. Violence, betrayal, silence. This kind was quiet, but sharp. He did not like it. He didn't rush. He didn't react emotionally. He simply observed, calculating, understanding the weight of what was happening. When the waiter brought the bill and gently placed it beside her, her hand trembled. She hadn't expected it so soon. The amount stared back at her, unfair and final. Her throat tightened. She hadn't planned for this. Around her, conversations continued, unaware of the small collapse happening at her table. She reached for her purse slowly, buying herself time. Inside, she knew there wasn't enough. Panic brushed against her chest, but she refused to let it show. Pride held her still. She whispered an apology to the waiter, asking for a moment. That was when the chair across from her shifted. She looked up, startled. The man from the corner now stood beside her table. His presence was calm, controlled, heavy with authority. He did not ask permission to speak. He simply looked at the bill, then at her face. His voice was low, steady, and kind. "It's taken care of," he said. No emotion, no performance, just certainty. The waiter froze for a second, then nodded quickly and stepped away. She stared, confused, unsure if she had heard correctly. She opened her mouth to speak, but no words came out. Her face burned with embarrassment and gratitude mixed together. He raised a hand gently, stopping her before she could say anything. His eyes softened just slightly. "You don't owe anyone an explanation," he said quietly. "Not tonight." The simplicity of his words broke something open inside her. She swallowed hard, nodding slowly. He didn't sit, he didn't linger. He only gave her a small nod and turned to leave. But before he walked away, he added, "Some people show you who they are by not showing up." She watched him walk back to his table, heart pounding. Around her, the restaurant seemed different now. The noise softened, the humiliation lifted, something steadier replaced it. She finished her meal slowly this time, not rushing, not hiding. Her shoulders relaxed. The shame was gone. In its place was something unfamiliar: dignity. When she stood to leave, she glanced toward his table. He was gone. Only an empty chair remained. She felt strangely grateful, though she didn't fully understand why. Outside, the air felt cooler. The city lights blurred slightly as she breathed deeply. What happened inside would stay with her. Not the embarrassment, but the kindness. She would later learn who he was, and the weight of what he had done would hit her fully then. But for now, all she knew was that a stranger had seen her pain and chose to act. That night became a turning point, not because of money or pride, but because someone powerful reminded her of her worth without asking for anything in return. The room felt heavier than before. Laughter still floated around, but it sounded distant to her now, like it came from another place. She sat quietly, pretending not to notice the way people whispered. Her hands were folded at her lap, fingers tight, nails pressing into skin. She kept her head high, even though her chest felt tight. Humiliation had a sound, a soft ringing that made everything else fade. She had come here thinking it was just another evening, a chance to relax, a chance to feel normal. Instead, she became the center of quiet amusement. Someone had laughed at her shoes. Someone else made a careless comment about her background. The table across from her shared knowing glances. No one defended her. No one interrupted. But what she didn't know was that someone else had noticed everything. He had been sitting near the back, where shadows protected him. The lighting barely touched his face, but his eyes saw everything. He had watched the way her smile slowly faded. He noticed her shoulders stiffen when the laughter turned sharp. He recognized humiliation the way a soldier recognizes danger. It was familiar, too familiar. The man beside him whispered something, amused. He didn't laugh. His jaw tightened instead. He had built his life on control, of rooms, of men, of outcomes, and what he hated most was cruelty dressed as humor. He didn't like bullies, never had, especially not the kind who preyed on someone who couldn't fight back. She tried to brush it off, even managing a small laugh of her own, pretending it didn't hurt, but he saw her eyes drop for half a second. That was all it took. The music continued. Glasses clinked, life went on around them, but something had shifted. He leaned back in his chair slowly, eyes never leaving her. The people around him sensed the change before they understood. The air felt tighter. Conversations softened. Even the servers moved more carefully. She stood to leave, pushing her chair back with quiet grace. No dramatic exit, no tears, just dignity holding itself together. That was when it happened. A chair scraped against the floor. Everyone froze. He stood up. The sound wasn't loud, but it carried weight. Conversations died mid-sentence. Heads turned. Some recognized him instantly. Others felt it in their bones without knowing why. He did not raise his voice. He did not rush. He simply walked. Each step was measured, calm, certain. She hadn't noticed yet. She was gathering her bag, ready to disappear, ready to swallow the humiliation and carry it home like a secret bruise. Then she felt it. The shift, the silence, the attention bending in one direction. She turned slowly. Their eyes met for the first time. There was no anger in his gaze, no pity either, just focus, intention. Something steady and protective that made her chest tighten unexpectedly. He stopped a few steps from her table. "Enough," he said quietly. The word didn't need volume. It landed heavy. No one laughed now. The ones who had mocked her avoided his eyes. Some looked down. Others suddenly found their drinks very interesting. He did not raise his voice. He did not insult anyone. He simply stood there,
presence filling the space like gravity. "She's done nothing wrong," he said, "and this ends now." His words weren't a threat, they were a fact. The room accepted it instantly. She felt her breath catch. No one had ever stepped in like this before. Not for her, not so calmly, not so completely. He turned slightly towards her, his tone softer now. "You don't have to leave," he said, "but if you want to, I'll walk you out." Her heart pounded. She nodded before she even realized it. As they walked together, the room stayed silent. Every eye followed them, but no one dared speak. Outside, the night air felt cooler, real, free. She finally looked up at him again. "You didn't have to do that," she said quietly. He looked at her for a long moment before answering. "Yes,"
he said calmly. "I did." He paused beside her, the city lights reflecting softly against the pavement. Cars passed in the distance, their sounds muted, as if the world had decided to give them space. She stood there unsure of what to say next, still trying to understand why a stranger would step in so firmly for her. Her hands trembled slightly, and she tucked them into her coat to hide it. He noticed, of course. He noticed everything. "You don't need to explain yourself," he said gently. "Some moments don't need reasons. They just need someone willing to stand still in them." She nodded, swallowing the lump in her throat. No one had spoken to her like that in a long time, without judgment, without expectation, just calm honesty. It made her chest ache in a strange, warm way. They walked a few steps in silence. The noise of the restaurant faded behind them as the hum of the city breathing at night. She felt lighter, though nothing about her situation had changed, except something inside her had shifted. "I'm sorry you had to see that," she said quietly, still looking ahead. He shook his head once. "I'm not." She turned to him, confused. "You shouldn't ever feel ashamed for someone else's cruelty. People reveal themselves when they think no one important is watching." She studied his face then. There was something guarded about him, something heavy beneath the calm. This was a man who had seen too much, carried too much, and yet he chose kindness without hesitation. "You didn't have to protect me," she said again, softer now. "I know," he replied, "but I wanted to." The honesty in his voice made her chest tighten. It wasn't flirtation, it wasn't pity, it was resolve. They stopped at the edge of the sidewalk. For a moment, neither moved. The world seemed to wait. "You'll be okay," he said. "You're stronger than you think." She smiled faintly, feeling something steady form inside her. "Thank you for seeing me." He nodded once. "Take care of yourself." Then, just like that, he stepped back. No grand goodbye, no promise. He turned and walked away, his presence fading into the night as quietly as it had arrived. She watched him go, heart steady, mind clear. What he'd given her wasn't protection, it was perspective. And as she turned to walk in the opposite direction, she realized something important had changed. She would never allow herself to be diminished again, not by silence, not by cruelty, and never by people who mistook kindness for weakness. That night didn't make her small. It made her stronger. She stood beside him for a moment, unsure as what to say next. The street felt quieter than the restaurant, like the world had paused to give them space. Cars passed, but their sounds felt distant. She wrapped her arms around herself, not from cold, but from the sudden release of everything she had been holding in. He noticed the small movement and took off his jacket, placing it gently over her shoulders without asking. It smelled faintly of leather and something clean, grounding. She didn't resist. She simply nodded, a soft thank you in her eyes. They began walking slowly, side by side. He didn't rush her. He didn't ask questions. He let the silence do its work. For the first time that night, she felt safe enough to breathe normally. After a few steps, she spoke quietly. "I didn't think anyone noticed," he answered without looking at her. "I did." That was all he said, but it was enough. They reached the corner where the streetlight cast a warm glow over the sidewalk. He stopped there, turning slightly towards her. His expression was calm, but there was depth behind it, experience, restraint, and something protective. "You didn't deserve that," he said simply. Her eyes softened. "I know, I just didn't want to make a scene." He nodded slowly. Sometimes silence protects others more than ourselves. She thought about that, about how often she had swallowed her feelings to keep peace, about how heavy that silence had become. A car pulled up nearby, dark and expensive, waiting patiently. She noticed it, but didn't ask. She didn't need to. Something told her this man lived in a world that moved when he decided to move. "Thank you," she said again, this time more firmly. "You don't owe me anything." There was honesty in his voice, no expectation, no demand. He opened the car door, but didn't step in yet. Instead, he paused. "You'll be all right?" She nodded. "I will now." A small smile touched his lips. Not warm, not cold, just real. "Good," he said. He stepped into the car, and it pulled away smoothly, disappearing into the night. She stood there a moment longer, watching the space where he had been. Her heart felt lighter, steadier. As she walked home, her steps were different, stronger. The shame was gone. In its place was something new. Respect, not given by him, but awakened within herself. That night, she realized that sometimes strength arrives quietly. It doesn't shout or threaten. It simply shows up when you need it most. And that night, she carried that lesson with her, unaware it would change the way she saw the world from that moment on. The memory of his calm voice stayed with her, not as a rescue, but as a reminder of her own worth. For the first time in a long while, she felt seen, and that feeling stayed. The street outside felt quieter than it should have been, as if the world had paused to watch them walk. She hugged her coat closer around herself, not from cold, but from the weight of everything that had just happened. He walked beside her, not too close, not too far, protective without being possessive. She broke the silence first. "You didn't have to do that," she said again, softer this time. "I would have been fine." He glanced at her briefly. "You would have survived. That's not the same as being fine." She didn't argue. Deep down, she knew he was right. They stopped under a streetlight. Its glow softened the sharp lines of his face. For the first time, she noticed the quiet tiredness in his eyes, the kind that came from carrying responsibility too long. "You didn't deserve that," he continued. "People confuse kindness with weakness. I don't." Her throat tightened. No one had said that to her before. She looked down at the pavement. "I didn't mean to cause trouble." A small, almost sad smile touched his lips. "You didn't. Trouble has a way of finding people who don't deserve it." Cars passed in the distance. The city breathed around them. She hesitated before asking, "Why did you help me?" He took a moment before answering, "Because I've seen how this story ends when no one steps in." That answer stayed with her. They walked a little further, neither rushing. Every step felt deliberate, safe. She noticed how people across the street slowed, how some looked delighted when they recognized him. She didn't understand why yet, but she sensed power around him, quiet and absolute. "You don't have to walk me," she said gently. "I know," he replied, "but I will." Her heart beat faster at that. They stopped near her car. She turned towards him, unsure what to say next. Gratitude felt too small. Curiosity felt dangerous. "Thank you," she said instead. He nodded once. "You're welcome." Then, after a pause, he added, "Be careful who you trust. Not everyone who smiles means well." She nodded slowly, committing the words to memory. As she opened her car door, she glanced back at him. "Will I see you again?" His expression softened just slightly. "That depends," he replied. "On what?" she asked. "On whether fate has more lessons planned for you." She smiled, unsure why her chest felt warm. As she drove away, she checked her mirror once. He was still standing there watching her go, and for the first time that night, she didn't feel small anymore. The walk outside felt slower than time itself. The streetlights reflected softly on the pavement, and her heels echoed in the quiet. She didn't know where he was taking her, yet she felt no fear. His presence was steady, controlled, like a wall she didn't need to lean on, but somehow trusted. Every step beside him calmed the storm inside her chest. She had never followed a stranger so willingly before, and that realization surprised her. They stopped near a black car, parked slightly away from the entrance. It was elegant, but not loud, powerful without showing off. He opened the door for her without a word. The gesture felt natural, not rehearsed. She hesitated only a moment before stepping in. Inside, the car was warm, quiet, and smelled faintly of leather and something clean. When he closed the door, the world outside felt distant. He walked around and took the driver's seat. For a moment, neither of them spoke. The engine hummed softly. She folded her hands together, unsure what to say, unsure of what this moment meant. Her heart beat slowly now, not from fear, but from curiosity. Something about him made silence feel safe instead of awkward. "You don't talk much," she said softly. "Only when it matters," he replied. That answer stayed with her. She wondered how many people mistook his silence for indifference, never realizing it was discipline, a way of choosing words carefully so they carried weight. She respected that. The car slowed near a quieter street. He parked under a street lamp and turned off the engine. The silence returned, heavier now, but not uncomfortable. He turned slightly towards her. "I don't usually get involved, but what happened tonight wasn't right." She nodded. "I know." His eyes searched her face, not intrusively, but with intent. "You handled it with dignity," he continued. "That matters." No one had ever said that to her before. Tears threatened, but she held them back. She didn't want to cry in front of him, not now. "I didn't feel strong," she admitted. "You were," he said calmly. "Strength doesn't always make noise." The words settled deep inside her. She believed him. A soft moment passed between them, filled with understanding rather than desire. Something deeper than attraction was forming. Respect. Recognition. A shared silence that didn't need explanation. He reached for the door handle. "I'll walk you to your place," he said. "You don't have to," she replied. "I know. I want to." They stepped out into the night together. The air was cooler now, calmer. The world felt less sharp. As they walked side by side, she noticed how people subtly moved aside, instinctively making space for him. He didn't acknowledge it. He never needed to. Her building came into view sooner than she expected. She slowed her steps, not wanting the moment to end. He noticed, of course. "You'll be all right now," he said gently. She looked up at him. "Will I see you again?" He paused. Just a breath. Then, "If it's meant to happen, it will." That answer should have frustrated her, but instead it felt honest, real. He stepped back, giving her space. She hesitated, then surprised herself by stepping forward and hugging him briefly. He stiffened for half a second, then relaxed, returning it lightly. No pressure, no claim. When she pulled away, she saw something shift in his eyes, something softened. "Good night," she said. "Good night," he replied. She watched him walk back toward the car, his figure blending into the quiet street. When he drove away, she didn't feel empty. She felt changed. Inside her apartment, she leaned against the door and exhaled slowly. Her heart felt steady. The night had taken something from her, but it had also given something back. She went to bed knowing this wasn't the end of the story. It was the beginning of something deeper, quieter, and far more powerful than she ever expected.